What is going on, ADA Nation? Thank you for jumping back into another Dapp Central video. My name is Fareed, and as always, today we're breaking down all of the latest news pieces going on in Cardano. Now, the very first topic I want to touch on as a part of today's video is going to be a brief review of the unique account growth on the Cardano network. Second, I've got some price predictions not coming from myself directly, but from some key members or from some key opinion leaders within the Cardano community. So stay tuned for that. After that, I've got some updates surrounding Minswap and their liquidity pool ADA proposal that they want to use for Catalyst. Now, after that, I've got some major news surrounding the Indigo protocol and their recent newsletter, which is going to be touching on their recent growth in terms of TVL and iAsset adoption, as well as their web app for their V2 version of the Indigo protocol. They've officially given us a date, and I'll be breaking that down as a part of that particular news segment. In closing of that, we will be touching on their Oracle progress, and then we're going to jump into the very last topic for today's video, which is going to be surrounding Vault 3, which is going to be a Web3 data gating platform. And I'm also going to be touching on the fact that I'm going to be having a key member from this team as a part of an interview taking place very, very soon. Now, if it's the first time that you and I are meeting, my goal is to provide you in the Cardano community with the latest news and updates surrounding the top builders in the ecosystem. If it's your first time stopping by, I am also a single stake pool operator. And if you'd like to show your support for the channel, then consider delegating with the official Dapp Central stake pool, which is stake pool ticker DAPP. Jumping into the very first topic for today's video, I want to do a brief review of the unique account growth on the Cardano network. Coming in at number one, we've got Optum Finance, which is going to be a bond platform on Cardano focusing on bonds for ISPOs as well as stake pools. Now, over the course of the past 5 days, they've had an increase of 805% or 52 new accounts interacting with the protocol. Coming in at number two, we've got a gaming project, Crypto with an increase or with an interaction of 81 new accounts. Coming in at number three, we've got Genius Yield, which has officially announced that they will be launching their testnet for their highly anticipated DEX in the middle of August with a whopping 1,100 brand new accounts interacting with the protocol. Now, right now, all they currently have available is staking. So you can go ahead and I believe stake not only the Gens token, you can also stake the NewNet token, the Empower token, the NMaker token, and I think there's one other that I'm missing. But keep that in mind that right now their staking platform is live and we're expecting their DEX to launch on the testnet. I will be working to secure an interview with Marvin as well as Lars Brunez surrounding the actual release of their testnet. So keep an eye out for that. Following that, at number four, we've got Plutus.art, which is going to be an NFT marketplace with 220 new accounts interacting with their platform, followed by MuesliSwap, which has a whopping 6,400 brand new users interacting with that DEX. Now, it's not by coincidence, the Milk token has risen all the way from being worth about half of an ADA all the way to a maximum of 21 ADA. So congratulations to this team as they've been putting in a lot of work, and they've also recently launched the release of the OPT token, which is going to be for the first ever options trading protocol on the Cardano network. Right behind them, we've got Epoch Art, another NFT marketplace with 35 new accounts. And then we've also got Vi Finance, which appears to have gotten a huge boost of interactions here with 7,700 new accounts interacting with their platform. In closing at number 8, we've got LenFi, which is just rebranded from AADA with an interaction of 766 brand new accounts. And then in closing, I recently did touch on Levy Finance, but they're going to be a platform allowing you to tap into the value or worth of the NFTs that you hold, getting 504 brand new accounts interacting with their platform. Now, last but not least, we've got Book.io, which just had their initial token sale for their Book 2.0 token, and they've had an increase here of 1,700 new accounts interacting with their platform. Now, this particular team has gone multi-chain, not only selling NFTs on Cardano, but also on Ethereum and the Polygon network. That will take us through the very first update here for today's video. The next thing I want to jump into will be some news surrounding ADA price predictions. Now, I want to just provide a disclaimer here. As you guys are well aware, my goal is not to provide any price predictions myself, but I have seen a few floating around, and I do get a lot of questions surrounding price predictions. So I thought I'd go ahead and share these two members here who are key opinion leaders within the Cardano network. So let's go ahead and just jump straight on in. The first member is going to be none other than Dan Gambardello. Now, Dan runs the Crypto Capital Venture YouTube channel, and I highly recommend you guys go ahead and check him out. But what I want to do is just roll a brief 1-minute clip here on him touching on where he sees the potential ADA price going in the next bull run. Again, keep in mind, this is not financial advice. Always make sure to do your own research before participating in cryptocurrency or crypto assets. So let's go ahead and just roll this video here. And again, if you guys want the full video, I'll leave the link to his channel down below.
Let's just say ADA gets to half of what Ethereum did. That's a $273 billion market cap for the next Cardano all-time high. I think that's a conservative figure. This isn't a price prediction video, but that's just to give some context. That's $7.80 ADA in the next bull cycle if it does only half of what Ethereum did. And this is putting aside mainstream crypto adoption, putting aside what happens with the Coinbase versus SEC case. What happens with if we get some really strong bullish regulatory clarity in terms of ADA finally being defined for what it is, which is not a security. What happens in those types of environments as Cardano DeFi comes online? And Cardano is offering, as a blockchain itself, better decentralization and security than something like Ethereum. What happens? Half of what Ethereum did in the last cycle, I think, is realistic. I really do think it is. And just to give you a note of what that looks like, that's like 2,500% gains from where ADA is right now. When I say time and time again that ADA is going to outperform much of crypto, look at something like Ethereum. I think Ethereum will break $1 trillion market cap. I think Ethereum will break a $10,000 Ethereum.
All right. Again, not financial advice. Do your own research, but check out Dan's channel if you guys have not already heard of him. I'd be highly surprised. He's been doing an amazing job of not only covering the Cardano ecosystem and uplifting the entire space, but he also covers Bitcoin and gives his price analysis and has you track all of these assets here on his crypto journey. So that was the first prediction I wanted to touch on there. Again, I think conservative $7 or so estimate for the price of Cardano in the next bull run. Now, the second is going to be from another member here within the Cardano community, and that's going to be Chris O with the Twitter handle, the O Crypto Bro. Now, he states here, Cardano community, I want to provide you guys with an ADA update as it relates, to my price prediction by adding another data set to his current model. So what he's taking into consideration is the ADA/BTC dominance, which is basically a comparison of the Cardano price against the Bitcoin price, as well as the total market cap divided by the ADA dominance, which is number 1. And then at number 3, he's also comparing this to Ethereum's gains in terms of percentage as it relates to 2021. So using a little bit of historical information here as well. Coming in at number 4, he's going to be comparing what Ethereum did compared to Cardano, especially given the fact that Cardano is going to be in its first full DeFi cycle. And again, these are all different data points that different people are using, but his particular estimate or his price prediction comes out to $12.03. Now, I'm not going to break all of this information down. He does have a full dedicated thread. And again, if you guys are interested in finding out more about this, then go ahead and follow him here on Twitter. Now, if we're to just go ahead and just grab the average of those two predictions, that would land us somewhere at around $9 to $10. If you guys want my take, I do believe that that will be achievable. Again, I think Dan's estimate was a little bit more conservative, whereas Chris's may have been a little bit on the higher end. A few things to keep in mind is that, at this point, we are expecting so much to come online. Number 1, we've got Mithril, which is going to be speeding up the node syncing time and the interactions that take place on Cardano. Number 2, we've got Hydra, which is going to be increasing the throughput in terms of transactions here on Cardano. And then number 3, we now have over 100 different apps being developed and launched and working on the main net. We've also got 1,200 builders. And over the course of the past few weeks alone, we've seen 8.8 million ADA coming into Cardano native assets. And we're also seeing the launch of DeFi really beginning to take off. In closing, we've already seen a lot of the DEXs perform extremely well, with Minswap leading the entire ecosystem with the most TVL on the network. So again, I think the price predictions are really good to see. And also keep in mind that, when we had the all-time high of $3, that at that point we had nothing that I just mentioned there before. So if we're able to get Hydra, Mithril, Dexes, DeFi, all these different things, I think that that really kind of sets ADA up to make a new all-time high. Now, where exactly will that take us is an entirely different conversation. Again, I try to keep my opinions here as fact-based as possible. And I touched on some of those key things there that I personally believe will take us to new all-time highs. Now that's going to wrap it up for that key portion there of today's Cardano Scoop. If you guys are enjoying these particular videos, again, it really helps me out when you guys are able to tap that like button. It's one of the easiest ways to support me here on the channel, and also lets the YouTube algorithm know that I'm doing a great job. So if you guys can do that, I would really appreciate you. The very next update I want to jump into is going to be surrounding Minswap. Now, this is going to be one that we're going to kind of dive into a little bit here, but I want to make this as educational as possible. And again, if you guys find this to be useful, then as always, make sure to go ahead and tap that like button or subscribe to the channel. So what we now have is an additional proposal being released by the Minswap team. I've been covering these here over the course of the past few weeks. We've had one for stable coins. We've had one for their LBE, or the liquidity bootstrapping event platform V2. And this is now going to be another one surrounding the registering of Minswap liquidity pool ADA and using that for Project Catalyst. As a little bit of background, Project Catalyst is a system in which the Cardano treasury funds are used to basically aid projects based off of their ideas. Now, we had funding round number 10 kick off with 50 million ADA being given away, or about $14 million. As a part of the process, we have proposees propose their proposals. We have the community review that. And at the very last stage, the entire community is able to vote on that by holding ADA. So you could imagine that given the fact that Minswap is the biggest DEX right now, there's a lot of ADA within liquidity pools that could potentially be used for voting within Catalyst. Now, they have to register that ADA first, and that's what this proposal is all about. So it reads here, you can now vote on chain on the proposal for registering the Minswap LP ADA for Project Catalyst. The quorum is going to be 40 million Min tokens, which basically means that at least 40 million Min tokens need to be used in order for the vote to be counted as eligible. And once that quorum is passed, then they'll take whatever the majority is. Now, voting period, or the voting period, will last a total of 9 days. And if you need a rundown, they have a fully dedicated article. If I jump into the next tab here, again, this is just kind of rehashing what I just mentioned with the vote kicking off this past Monday. And if I jump over into the next tab here, what I want to do is briefly read some of this information. So it reads here, ADA and DeFi, such as the Minswap liquidity pools, cannot currently take part in Catalyst voting. However, this ADA in the liquidity pools can be registered for Catalyst voting by the Minswap Labs team. Again, that's what this proposal is focusing on. That said, a vote can be conducted on which proposals will then get upvoted using the LP ADA. So you can imagine that that's a lot of ADA. And if a particular proposal is voted on by the Minswap community and they use that LP ADA to vote for that proposal, then it's like a 90% chance that that proposal will get funded by Project Catalyst. So a lot of weighing power and a lot of voting power here in the hands of Min holders. Now, this proposal, which is being brought forward in the light of a poll where the Cardano community responded with overwhelming support of the idea, with around 78% voting in favor of registering the ADA in Minswap liquidity pools to vote on Project Catalyst. So I think this is a no-brainer. Again, if you hold Min, you definitely want to make sure to take part in this vote. But it seems like right now there's an overwhelming majority that do want to go ahead and proceed with this process. Now, the goal is to collectively decide on which proposals will receive upvotes from the ADA in the Minswap liquidity pools. So there's going to be 4 steps. And again, I'm going to try to keep this as brief as possible. But step number 1 will be to register the ADA in the Minswap LP pools for Project Catalyst. Now, registering for the Catalyst voting requires only the state keys, so it's essential to note that the smart contract's payment key remains inaccessible, making sure that the funds are always safe. And this is one of the key benefits here within the Cardano network, how the payment addresses are set up and the benefits of the extended UTXO model. Now, after they register the ADA, number 2 will be to actually filter proposals. This is where things get a little interesting. So a group consisting of Minswap community managers and Cardano community volunteers will collaborate to filter out of the 1,500 plus proposals down all the way to a manageable number, such as 50 proposals. After that, the Minswap community will be able to use their Min tokens in order to vote for the top 20. So whoever has to filter down the 1,500 proposals down to 50, good luck to them. They will need that because all these proposals are so huge. And again, I think this is just the beginning for Project Catalyst, in which we've seen the highest number of proposals getting launched on Project Catalyst. Now, as a part of that, which is step number 3, the process of actually going through and voting for the top 20, the filtered 50 proposals will be subject to a vote amongst Min token holders. Given that Minswap liquidity pools are rewarded with Min and are actively participating within the ecosystem, their input in selecting the top 20 proposals will be crucial. Again, I completely agree. If they're providing a lot of liquidity, they should be able to put that ADA to work by allowing them to vote for which Project Catalyst proposals they want to see go through. The very last step here is number 4, catalyst voting. So the top 20 proposals will then be chosen, right, by the Min token holders, and those will be upvoted as a part of Project Catalyst. Now, if you're wondering how much ADA is currently being held in these liquidity pools, currently there's 168 million ADA locked in terms of TVL within the Minswap DAO, and they will be voting with 84 million ADA. So basically stating that any vote or any project that is upvoted as a part of the top 20 will basically go through. Again, imagine how many people would have to come together collectively to get a taste of that kind of voting power. So I wanted to touch on that there. The very last thing I want to do is jump over here and just highlight what the vote has been so far. So the start date began on July 24th. It's going to be ending here on August 2nd. And the Min token snapshot took place on July 23rd. So that's already over. Now the quorum has already been met. Again, I mentioned that they needed at least 40 million of the Min tokens being used. We have 75 million being used. And then if I scroll down here again, they don't show the stats until everything is done, which I think is good because they want to reduce groupthink or the ability for people to get swayed by looking at existing votes. However, right now we have 650 votes. And just based off of what I've seen so far, the majority are to pass this particular proposal. So if I click on see more, again, there's very little no's and an overwhelming majority of yeses. So let me know what you think down below. If you are a Min token holder, this would be huge. If you're a proposal holder, right? If you're proposing an idea, you would do everything that you can to get some buy-in here from the Minswap community, because again, I think that a single vote just by Minswap alone would be enough to get your proposal through. So I just want to wrap that up there by saying that we could see additional platforms, which include Indigo, which also has pretty big TVL in terms of locked up ADA. We could also see platforms like Vi Finance, LQ, or Liquid, which also has a lot of TVL locked up with ADA, also begin to follow the same trend. Again, I think it makes sense, especially if you have your ADA provided to these protocols, to still be able to leverage the utility that they hold when it comes to Project Catalyst voting. But let me know what you think down below. Do you agree with this, or do you think that this is a bad move? Again, I think that this is the ethos within Cardano, right? Is to make sure that everything is decentralized. And if the majority of Min holders vote to have this pass through, then it should go ahead and be passed, as that's the community's vote. That's going to wrap it up there for that particular section. And what I want to do is jump into a brief segment surrounding the Indigo protocol. Now, Indigo is a platform that's going to be allowing members within the Cardano community to get price exposure to assets that may not be native to Cardano. What I have here is a Medium article surrounding their June and July Indigo newsletter. This is going to be highlighting all of their latest development. Now I'm going to release a fully dedicated video, but I want to touch on the highlights that were mentioned as a part of this one. So the first thing is going to be surrounding their Indigo platform protocol growth, in which they've crossed a huge milestone, which is going to be 100 million ADA in terms of TVL. I believe they are at like number 2 or number 3 in terms of the biggest TVL on Cardano, right behind Minswap. And it really does show, because again, they have IUSD, which is a stable coin. They've got IBTC, they've got IETH, and they've even got their own Indigo token as well. So a lot of really positive news there. The next piece is going to be surrounding the web app V2, which I've been touting here on the channel. So I'm excited to see that this is going to be coming very, very soon. So over the course of just the next 4 or 5 days, or on August 1st, we can expect the V2 version of the web app for the Indigo protocol. Now, I would not be able to show this off without actually diving into what the screenshots look like. So here it is. Let me get myself out of the way there. We've got the revamped version here of the Indigo platform with the same kind of layout. On the left-hand side, we've got access to iAssets, trading, Indigo DAO, and support. Again, keep in mind that these guys have developed their own DEX aggregator, but a cool piece that we're going to be expecting, which is going to be new, is going to be their portfolio. Right here on the right-hand side, we've got our market cap for the platform, the TVL, the collateral ratio, which is basically how healthy the application is, as well as the total amount of Indy staked and their circulating supply. Right below, we can see the market for the 3 current iAssets. And if I scroll down, this is where things get a little bit juicy. So we've got the portfolio view of the collateralized debt positions. Again, visualizations I think are going to be key to get a better understanding and a better picture as to how healthy the protocol is performing. Scroll down just a little bit more. We've got some more information surrounding diversification as well as Indy rewards history for your personal portfolio. So this team is really doing a lot of the necessary work to provide a smooth and seamless experience here for the Cardano community looking to leverage their platform. Very lastly, we've got some information surrounding Indy staking with the breakdown here of the APR as well as the total history in terms of staked Indy. So this team, again, really setting the standard when it comes to how DeFi protocols should be interacting and how they should be iterating and providing more and more value to the growing Cardano network. Scrolling down a little bit here, I'm going to pick up the pace. We've got some impactful events, which include a huge decline, which was 25% in the value of ADA, which basically triggered over 9.5 million ADA in terms of liquidation. So that is a piece that you have to keep in mind when using a platform like Indigo, is that you can be subject to liquidations, which basically mean that the collateral that you put up to get your collateralized debt position for any of the iAssets basically goes down to a level where it's no longer healthy and the protocol is almost in a position to be in danger. So what happens at that point is that the assets within the Indigo insurance pools or stability pools are then used to close out your position. So we saw over 9.5 million ADA getting liquidated when the price of ADA fell by 25%. Now, this has only happened 6 times in the entire history of Cardano being online. So it is somewhat of a black swan event. It doesn't happen all the time, but it was something that did happen nonetheless. Now, the good thing about this, though, is that even though we had this crazy event, the actual protocol had enough liquidity to basically close out all those liquidations in a timely manner and to continue functioning. So I would basically look at this as some kind of a test, a stress test basically, and it looks like the Indigo protocol has passed. We would get a little bit nervous if there wasn't enough ADA within the liquidity pools or enough IUSD or whatever asset within the stability pools. However, there was. But again, keep in mind that there is some risks to participating in DeFi and by holding these collateralized debt positions. Scrolling down, we've got some information surrounding their July progress report in which they're going to be launching some transaction chaining. And it states here that with this feature, each transaction will rely on the output of the previous one, allowing for swift and orderly processing of multiple transactions. Right below that, we've got some information surrounding the OrcFax Oracle integration, which I broke down in my last video, which was a successful integration of OrcFax, which is a decentralized Oracle platform within the Indigo protocol. Now, that took place on the testnet. And it states here, Indigo protocol will soon be able to utilize OrcFax's decentralized oracles to expand the suite of Indigo iAssets. Right below that, we've got some open sourcing for their multi-dex SDK, which is also labeled as Dexter. With Dexter, you can do the following: pull liquidity, submit and swap orders, build your own data, build swap datums, and load wallets using their seed phrase or SIP30. So again, I broke this down in prior videos. I'll be releasing an additional video, but I wanted to break this down here for you guys as a part of today's update. Now, they will also be transitioning some of their LP tokens to DEXs, which include Minswap and Wing Riders, which is a pretty big update there. And they're also going to be updating their LP token reward structure, as well as had an interview with Vanessa Harris to get some more exposure to their protocol. And then in closing, they will be open sourcing their Indigo rewards tool. So a lot of updates there. Again, stay tuned for the dedicated video if you guys are interested in finding out more about Indigo, as that was quite a bit there, but I don't want to beat a dead horse there with that particular update. So we're going to move things along into the very last portion here for today's video, surrounding a brand new project, which is also pitching a Project Catalyst proposal, and that is going to be Vault 3. Now, they're going to be a Web3 data gating service building on Cardano. The problem they're aiming to solve is the fact that web services currently lack effective solutions for sharing confidential information or confidential data with large audiences. Their solution is to share confidential files with large groups of users using customizable Web3 access policies. So to simplify this, imagine having an NFT or some kind of token within your wallet. You're then able to connect your wallet to their platform. And when you do that, because of the policy ID associated with whatever tokens within your wallet, you now have access to view specific data. I think that this is going to be huge for influencers like myself or content creators who might want to offer specific value or specific data or even videos, right, which are exclusive on a platform like this. So I'm going to be having a member from this particular team here tomorrow doing an interview. So make sure to go ahead and tune in for that. But some of the benefits include the ability to easily enhance existing native assets with RealFi utility, the ability to share content exclusively with NFT holders, which again is what I mentioned there for content creators. I think that's going to be huge. And then very lastly, the ability to launch campaigns with giveaways that are accessible only to token holders, offering them some extra value. In terms of their proposal, they are requesting 876,000 of the ADA tokens, which is about 140,000 euros at the time of shooting this video. Jumping into the last page here, I've got a minor screenshot basically showing the ability to create or connect a wallet in order to access the vault. So a pretty interesting concept here. I could definitely see myself as an influencer using something like this. And let me know down below, if you're a content creator or maybe just a creator in general, right? Maybe you write blogs, maybe you just take pictures, etc. Could you potentially use something like this in order to connect better with your own community? That said, that is going to bring us here to a close for today's Cardano scoop. Again, my goal here is to try to provide you guys with as much information here on the channel surrounding everything going on in Cardano. And as a part of today's video, we touched on the unique account growth on the network, as well as 2 price predictions from Dan and Chris O, as well as Minswap and their liquidity pool ADA proposal, as well as Indigo and their monthly newsletter. And then we wrapped up today's video by talking about Vault 3. If you found anything to be helpful, if you just learned anything along the way, I would appreciate you if you could tap that like button. If it's your first time stopping by the channel and you want more content like this, consider subscribing. And if you have any questions for me surrounding anything that we touched on as a part of today's video, then as always, go ahead and make sure to leave a comment down below. That said, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video.